The first video had only 312 views. Most of them came from friends. A few came from random people scrolling late at night. And one came from a girl sitting alone in Berlin at 2 a.m. Nobody knew it then, but that single click was about to change one Australian singer's life forever. Because the girl singing into a cheap microphone from a tiny bedroom outside Melbourne wasn't famous. She wasn't signed. She wasn't rich. In fact, most people around her thought she had already failed. But within months, Europe would start calling her Australia's Taylor Swift. And honestly, what happened next feels almost impossible to believe. Ava Mercer was 24 years old. By day, she worked long shifts at a grocery store in Melbourne. By night, she wrote songs alone in her bedroom. Not for fame, not for followers, just because music was the only thing that made her feel understood. Her room was tiny, cracked walls, old laptop, secondhand microphone. Nothing about her life looked glamorous. And after years of rejection emails from music labels, even Ava herself started wondering if maybe everyone else was right. Maybe the dream was over. Because every email sounded the same. You're talented, but we're not sure where you fit in today's market. Imagine hearing that over and over again for years. Talented, but not enough. Good, but forgettable. Eventually, even confident people start doubting themselves. And Ava was exhausted. But music meant something deeper to her. When Ava was 16, she lost her mother to cancer. Before she passed away, her mom used to play music every Sunday morning while cleaning the kitchen. Artists like Fleetwood Mac, Carole King, and early Taylor Swift. Not stadium Taylor Swift. The storyteller version. The girl writing heartbreak like diary entries. And Ava fell in love with that kind of honesty. Songs that didn't sound perfect. Songs that sounded real. So after her mom died, Ava started writing constantly. Late nights. Hospital memories. Loneliness. Fear. Heartbreak. By 24, she had written over 600 unfinished songs. But nobody was listening. At least, that's what she thought. Then came the Thursday night that changed everything. A tiny venue in Brunswick. Sticky floors. Broken lights. Almost empty. Only 7 tickets had sold. 7. Ava almost canceled the show because she felt embarrassed performing to practically nobody. But the venue manager convinced her to come anyway. So she did. And honestly, the night started terribly. People talked over her music. Someone dropped a glass during her second song. One couple near the bar argued loudly the entire set. It felt humiliating. Then something unexpected happened. A tourist from Germany sitting near the back quietly lifted her phone and started recording. Not because the crowd was going crazy. Actually, the opposite. The performance felt painfully raw. And somehow real. The tourist's name was Lena. Later that night, before going to sleep, she uploaded a 30-second clip to TikTok with one caption. Why is nobody talking about this girl? That was it. No hashtags. No strategy. Nothing. And when Ava woke up the next morning, everything had changed. Her phone wouldn't stop vibrating. At first she thought something terrible happened. Then she opened TikTok. The video had over 300,000 views. By the end of the day, it crossed 1.8 million. People across Europe became obsessed overnight. Comments flooded in. Who is this? She writes like old Taylor Swift. I haven't felt lyrics like this in years. Why am I crying over someone I've never heard before? And suddenly, music labels that ignored her for years wanted meetings immediately. Isn't that crazy? The same people who rejected her now suddenly acted interested because the internet approved first. But what happened next changed everything even more. Because Ava didn't trust any of it. See, viral fame scares people more than you think. One week the internet loves you. The next week it forgets you exist. And Ava knew that. She was terrified people only liked 30 seconds of her song. Not her as an artist. Then came the invitation. London. A live showcase for European music executives. This was her chance. The moment every struggling artist dreams about. But backstage before the performance, Ava looked physically terrified. Executives whispered things like, she's the TikTok girl. They're calling her Australia's Taylor Swift. And Ava hated that comparison. Not because she disliked Taylor Swift. Because she didn't want to become a copy of someone else. She wanted people to hear her story. Not just compare her to another star. Then the curtain opened. And everything changed. Ava walked onto the stage wearing an oversized sweater and black jeans. No dancers. No effects. No giant production. Just a microphone. The room barely paid attention at first. Then Ava said one sentence. This song is about realizing someone stopped loving you long before they actually left. Suddenly the room became silent. And when she started singing, people froze. Because Ava didn't sing like someone trying to impress people. She sang like someone confessing something painful. There's a difference. And audiences can feel it instantly. One music executive later admitted, I expected internet hype. I left thinking she might become one of the biggest artists in the world. Within months, Ava's music exploded across Europe. Germany especially became obsessed. Then France. Then the UK. Her songs were everywhere. Fans tattooed her lyrics. Teenagers analyzed her songs online like poetry. And headlines kept calling her Australia's Taylor Swift. But then something happened during an interview that completely changed how people saw her. The interviewer asked, how does it feel being called the next Taylor Swift? Ava paused for a second, then calmly replied, I don't want to be the next anyone. The room went quiet. Then she continued, Taylor inspired millions of people to write honestly. But every artist spends their whole life trying to become themselves. I think that matters more. That clip went viral instantly. And, weirdly enough, people respected her even more after that. Because she sounded genuine. Not manufactured. Not media-trained. Just honest. But the most emotional moment came later. During a live stream, fans asked Ava to show old songwriting notebooks. She hesitated, then grabbed one she'd owned since she was 16. As she flipped through the pages, something fell onto the floor. A hospital wristband. The live stream chat went silent. Then Ava quietly admitted, I used to write songs in hospital waiting rooms while my mom was sleeping. That moment hit people hard. Because suddenly the music wasn't just emotional. It had history inside it, pain inside it, real memories. And millions of people connected to her for one reason. She made them feel understood. But maybe the craziest part of this entire story happened after Ava became famous. Months later, she secretly visited the same grocery store where she used to work. Same fluorescent lights. Same shelves. Same uniforms. And while walking through the aisles, a young employee nervously recognized her. The girl quietly said, I write songs too. For a second, Ava saw herself in that teenager. The invisible version of herself. The version nobody believed in yet. Then Ava told her something simple, but powerful. Don't wait for permission to take yourself seriously. That sentence exploded online after the employees shared the story later. Because honestly, most people spend their entire lives waiting for someone else to validate their dreams. Today, Ava Mercer performs in sold-out arenas across Europe. Millions of fans know every lyric. And critics still compare her to Taylor Swift sometimes. But people who truly follow her know the real reason she became famous. It wasn't because she copied anyone. It was because she reminded people what honest music sounds like again. And maybe that's why this story resonates with so many people. Because before Europe discovered her, Ava spent years feeling invisible. And deep down, most people know exactly what that feels like. Which makes the ending of this story even more powerful. Because the night that changed Ava Mercer's life forever was also the exact night she almost gave up. And sometimes,